All right, you guys, welcome back to another Patreon episode of Unhinged Immoral. We have, at Tyreek Told You, Jamila and I are super excited about this one because this is our fellow Hamptonian.
Yes.
Whoa, before we actually started recording, we were talking about some inside jokes. And what I wanted to say was, one thing I love about, like, having gone to a really small HBCU is when we be cackling on the pod, when we give like them 1-2 descriptors, if you went to Hampton, you know who we talking about. Like, you already know what's being said.
Literally.
But it's like, if you don't know, you don't know, so we can still be messy. So it's just so fun.
What class were you?
I'm class of 2013. Now, I technically finished in 2014 because I had took a year out, but that's still my class. So it's just like where all my friends is at, Quintessence 8.
What's y'all's class name?
He said
Quintessence
QT.
8.
Okay,
QT8.
period. QT.
Okay.
We're ogres.
16.
Oh, you went to Hampton too, Jamila?
Yes.
That's how. Okay,
my
so that's,
freshman
I don't know
year.
if you know the inception. We met at Hampton. We're VC cuties. We were roommates our freshman year.
Get out of here.
That's why I don't know
Yes.
that to put into context. When I was like, Jamila, wake up. He went to Hampton. Like, we had to. When you were on some like, oh my god, I'm so sorry for being late. We're like, no, we're sorry for being late, and you're older than us. So I'm like,
To be
oh my
on
god,
time.
he older school Hampton than, because even now they be like, oh, y'all old school Hampton. Like, no, girl, we're late. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So we're excited to
We
talk
were
to you
all over the
about
place.
all the things at Hampton, especially I know by you being QT8, QT9 was the QT above us. So those would have been like your littles. So you might be like I was telling Jamila, we like as you were leaving, we were coming in.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
crazy. That's
you
so
have
crazy.
context for some of the stuff that we might bring up, and even
Yeah.
before, I don't know. So like,
Okay.
what was you're a scripper too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Jack 365, 440, all that.
Oh yeah,
The Jack classes.
not 440. I'm triggered.
Mhm.
Do you remember your teachers there at Hampton who was there?
Yeah.
Did you ever have Ellie Ryan Butler?
Yes.
We love.
I had him my senior year for I think it was media
him.
law. But who else did I
Oh, he used
have?
to teach media law. That makes sense. By the time we was there, he had. What did he teach? He taught our Jack 101. What was that? The beginning
He
class.
taught
all the
two
freshmen.
different things.
Yeah.
Jack 101 and Jack 102.
Yeah,
Something
like the
like
very
that,
one that
yeah.
everyone had to take. And what was crazy is that was the year Nicki Minaj dropped. I didn't fuck when I didn't fuck. Remember he played that in class and we had to analyze that song. But it was
Yes,
crazy.
we used to watch mad music videos and he like, now what did you see?
What did you feel about that? You know he went to Howard.
So when I had his media law class, he had played this Erica Badu video. I forget which song
Window
it was. but
Seat?
No, it wasn't Window Seat
wasn't
because she was
Window
like
Seat? Oh,
completely
that's what he did
naked
with
in the
us.
video. Like you could see.
Yeah, that's
everything.
Window Seat.
Oh, that's the Window
When she
Seat
was
video.
naked. Because he
Okay,
played the
yeah.
same one for us. Yes.
Well, there was like this super, super, super religious girl in the class. She like had a total meltdown,
Oh.
stormed out of the room. She was like, "You're playing
brother.
porn on camera." I'm like, "It's not. It's a
brother.
music video."
goodness.
Yeah.
Hampton
Yeah.
was such like. I'd be trying to explain it. It is easier to explain Hampton to obviously other people who went to HBCUs, but then even still, it has its own like culture. So I always like talking to other like Hamptonians because I feel like the context of the jokes that we'll make, or like even when we say like Giselle being a Gamma Theta AKA makes so much sense for me. Like whenever, and that's why I really do feel like I'm a Giselle apologist, because I'm like, you don't understand. I went to school with her. Like I know her. She's just like that. Like every time I find out something like a little piece of Hampton lore or someone went to Hampton, I'm like, no, that tracks though. You don't understand. That makes a lot of sense.
It's so
I
funny.
agree.
Yeah.
Awkward silence. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, because I was gonna you had mentioned them Gamma Theta AKAs. I know one, and I was going to tell her story, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay, no.
Yeah.
We might know her.
That's why I paused.
Right.
Because I was like, no, Tyreek, you doing something.
Yeah, no. That's also the thing when we're telling stories. Jamila and I will literally be like when we're on the podcast, we'll literally be like, edit that out. Like I've actually
I gave one too many
I
descriptions.
gave one too many details. I accidentally said a name. I'm sorry. Please edit that out, Melissa. Like we
Yeah,
do a lot of that,
literally.
especially when talking about school. We go back to homecoming. I go back to homecoming a lot. We didn't go back this year, obviously, because we had one music fest. But something I'm interested to know, like when we first got to Hampton, and especially with you being in the class before us, they were always like, it's changed. You all wasn't here for Old Hampton. Da, 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 da. They have got so much stricter, because I think they had just got done with the student center the year that we came in. Like,
and we had the new caf. We had the new cafeteria.
The new caf.
The cafeteria was new.
There was something new that we were the first ones to
we
have.
were the first class to have that brand new good old cafeteria. It was super cute with all that glass. We was feeling real fancy with that, honey.
Yeah. So I was there for that. Now, when I came in to Hampton, it was fall of 2009. So back then we called it the big calf and the little calf. Both of them were inside of VC. The big calf, you go in there to be seen. Like, that's where you want to get noticed. If you popular, you in the big calf, just like mixing and mingling. The small calf was more of an intimate setting. You could go there and like eat by yourself and nobody's looking at you crazy. You go there with like a really small group of friends and, you just rock out over there. So it was vibes.
So by us living in VC, I feel like I've seen it, but they had it closed off.
In the basement?
Jog my memory.
Yeah,
I was gonna
floor.
say it was. Okay, so by the time we got, they had closed that shit off. Like we couldn't even go down there. We was not allowed down there.
I can tell you exactly where it was. So, like, there's the main entrance to VC right by the steps. Then there's another set of steps further down. That was the entrance to the small calf. Then around the corner where, like, that ramp is and everything, that was the big calf.
And they definitely did have that blocked off. We weren't like the one. So once they opened the new calf, none of that shit was open.
Don't worry about
so
it.
when we got there, it was boarded up already. So it was like, and people used to say little things like, "Oh, da da da," but it was like we didn't really have a concept. And plus, we were just trying to come up the stairs. We lived on that second floor, so we were just trying to come up and go to sleep. Child, it was already too many stairs.
This is actually kind of so weird. The fact that we were on campus at the same time.
No,
and never like. He
What
said he
year
was
did
there
y'all come
2014.
No, we came in, but you graduated. Were you there the whole 2014? Because we came in.
No, I had graduated May 2014.
Yeah, and we didn't come in until August. So that's why I was saying ships in the night passing each other.
I was gonna
we
say
missed
were
each
we
other.
on campus at the same time? Like that's so crazy.
But we
literally just missed
we
each
definitely
other.
have mutuals because like he's QT8 and we know like Randy. My big is QT9.
Yeah.
We know a lot of QT9. I mean, like obviously it's one of those things where I'm not good with names.
Me
But
neither.
when I go back to homecoming, I just be, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl.
Yeah.
Like I don't be knowing nobody name, child. I just be, but I do remember I used to see you every day, girl. Like I ain't going to act fake.
Yeah, when I'm at homecoming, it's like, oh, did I like you? Like I recognize you, but I don't think
Right,
you did.
what
We
was the
were
story
at
there?
homecoming the same we went to homecoming the same year. Once I saw your Instagram, I was like, oh, isn't that crazy?
That was 2023 probably.
Yeah, I was
That's
there.
crazy.
I only found out Tyreek was a Hamptonian. It was random because someone had added, you said it in one of your videos, and it was like, hey, do you know who Mecca is? She went to Hampton. She's always talking about it too. And I was like, oh my God, Hamptonian, hello. Because there's always fucking motherfuckers from Howard in my comments. And people getting confused, like, oh, you went to Howard? That's not, I never would I had told y'all. I don't know why you said that.
No.
I found out that you went to Hampton because you were like responding to a comment, I think. I forget what the subject was.
Yeah.
But like somebody said you should have found your husband at college or something like that. And you was like, I'm not dating a Hampton man.
During that when the
I was like, oh, she went to
TTs
Hampton.
when the TTs were telling the girls to go to college and find a man, I said, I know the Hamptonians love running back and getting married.
There's a couple quite a few from our class.
Bitch, well, when we was there, no.
Yeah, nah.
I know a few Hamptonians that got married from my class. So.
Yeah, we know quite a few. Are you going back to homecoming this year?
I plan to. Give me 1 second. Hold on. You can walk past. Yeah, that's my mother. Her birthday was yesterday too.
Hey, happy birthday. Hey.
That's Mecca and Jamila from TikTok. They both went to Hampton. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Yeah, we definitely plan on going to, like, I haven't been back since the homecoming of our sophomore year, so that would have been 2015 or 2016, I can't remember. Just because obviously, like, I went to a different school. We end up, the homecomings always are kind of like back and forth and stuff. And we wanted to go this past year, but then one music fest happened that same weekend, so we had to do that. But this year, I'm definitely going back. Like, I'm actually super excited about, like, seeing everybody. And being there only 1 year, it's interesting because people are always so shocked that I still have so many connections from people I met freshman year. But I'm like, it was just kind of like that. Like, it was just kind of like that. Like, it was already a small school. We were already, like, the freshmen were so close because of, like, the NSO week and all those things.
The
like,
curfew,
you just you get binded, and you really, like, kind of find your people, and you really stay connected to all those people. And so that'll be really exciting to see, honestly.
Yeah, there's people who I met freshman year who like never came back, and we're still like cool. Like,
Yeah.
Jamila.
that's just what Hampton is.
That's exactly you.
Mind you, it was never planned that way. Like, I never even told people, like, I'm not coming back. I just never came back. And I was just like, oh, yeah, sorry. I thought I was coming back too, shit. And I was like,
No, man.
Damn. So what's the vibe now? How are you feeling about, as it stands current time, it's like, what, 3-something, January 16th, or what day is it?
It's the 18th.
So we're like a couple hours away from finding out if it's doomsday or not. So where are you at with your feelings about all of this?
I'm optimistically delusional. Like, I'm still holding out hope that Biden is going to sign something and give them an extension. And if he doesn't, I just recorded a TikTok video about this, so I'm going to post it when I'm done. But if he doesn't, I just say we're going to go black for like a day or two. Then Trump gets in office and he just signs like 1,000 executive orders. TikTok is one of them. And then like we're back online. So it's just like a 2 or 3 day pause for us, a breather, a break.
Yeah.
Which we might need.
Transitional period.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a refresh. Maybe that's a reset. And it's weird. I feel so weirdly giddy, and it's like I was expecting to feel so sad and be like, oh, woe is me, and I still kind of feel that, like, damn, what the fuck, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it is just my delusion, but I honestly have this level of optimism that is like, even if there's no more TikTok, I feel like this is sparking something within just everybody, because like I've gained so many more followers on Instagram, which, first of all, I've been fighting for my life on Instagram for the past like 7 years. Like, it's like it was so hard to grow on Instagram, and out of nowhere this year, it's been able to happen. So I feel like this is going to be a catalyst for something. Either, even if it stays or if it goes, this moment is such a catalyst in our history, and I honestly can't wait to see just what things turn into. Like, that's kind of exciting to me. I don't know, it's weird.
I was out with Sade in the city last night. If I don't know her, she like does food reviews in New York. And we were just talking, and I was like, regardless of what happens, there's a lesson in all of this, because this is real life. Shit happens. You can't get too comfortable. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. So like, learn from this and just kind of, going forward, do a little something over here, a little something over there. Try to get your own motion going, whether you're doing like live shows, going on tour, do something, because you can't just rely on a single platform. So
yeah,
you're so good at this. Something that Jamila and I are still working on with the podcast is talking over each other, and the way that you are able to pause and like wait for us to start. Like, I can tell you've been with the podcasters, because we are still getting the hang of it. They be in our comments like, can y'all stop talking over? I'm like, I don't know, this is how we talk.
And I was like, I don't know if we'll ever stop doing that. I think that's just kind of our thing. Like, we just get in where you fit in. And it's just like, both of us having some level of ADHD is just a bunch of chaos. Like, we just be...
I was going to say, our real conversations be worse. Like, on the actual phone, yelling over each other. Like,
literally. So what are your plans? What are your... because I feel like regardless, everybody has been thinking to themselves, what's our pivot beyond? Because it's just like, you always want to prepare. So what are your plans this year with your content, whether you want to continue to do content, whether you kind of want to leave it and do something else? What are you thinking?
That's a very, very interesting question, because what I was supposed to have been doing was this podcast. Like, people have been saying that for literally 10 years. And ironically enough, it was homecoming 2023. I'm with my Hampton friends. And my friend Anderson, he's damn near begging me to like just start taking this thing seriously. And I entertained the conversation, and I said, if I start a podcast, I need to like have already built a following. So where should I do that? And they're like, oh, just post TikToks. So then like I came home in November and I just started making TikToks, and the shit just blew up overnight. Wow. And then I got like so used to the TikTok thing. I said, fuck the podcast. I'm going to just do TikTok.
Right.
And then, you know, they went and banned TikTok. And I said, okay, maybe I should go and do that podcasting that I should have been already doing.
So how did
yeah,
you end up on Jade and XD?
I had been following them for years and years and years. When I started posting on Instagram seriously, I started like building my following there. And XD followed me back one day and like was watching the videos and stuff, and he just reached out and said, "Hey, let's do a Patreon episode together." So me and him had did something on Patreon, and then he invited me on like the Jade and XD podcast, and that went really well. And they immediately invited me back afterwards.
Wow, that's alignment.
It is. That's like, and you know what the thing about alignment is, you can be putting something off, like how you said your friends have been saying, do this, do this, do this. And you, in the moment you took it seriously, it just easily happened because I was always what you were supposed to be doing. Because I got hip on you, you would started popping up, and I'll be like, oh my god, he's so funny. And then what really had me tapped in was your crack series, your crack journalism. I was like, and the way you would be asking questions like, so what is going on with this and who is that? And I forgot exactly what little TikTok topic it was where you was asking something about something. And I said, oh my god, he's so funny. Like,
and what kills me is anytime something is in remotely related to crackhead, they're like, please,
where's Tyreek? Someone call Tyreek. It'll be in someone else completely different comments, and you got people, they'll just bring up crack, and it's like, at Tyreek told you, we need you here on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground, reporting live.
If you were to like scroll through my mentions at literally any point on any day, it says nothing but crackheads everywhere. I kind of stopped responding to them because like some of that stuff, well, it's all sad, but you know, I was just joking. Y'all are like dead serious. So I kind of left the crack thing alone.
They're definitely serious. I enjoyed watching you, walk the streets of New York with your thick New York accent. What borough are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
You're from Brooklyn? Brooklyn. Oh, it's grimy in Brooklyn. Isn't that where Jennifer Lopez from? With the orange juice?
She's from the Bronx.
Oh, from the Bronx.
She's from
I'm
the
sorry.
Bronx.
Her crazy hair.
Puerto Rican stuff.
Yeah,
okay, period.
Brooklyn.
Well, who's from Brooklyn?
I was just in New York too.
Little Kim is from Brooklyn.
Okay, I was gonna say somebody is from Brooklyn.
Biggie,
Yeah,
Chris Rock.
Okay, I was like, that's a well-known.
And we all from the start too. I'm from Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Yeah,
didn't get me out of here.
So wait, I'm not a New York head. Bed-Stuy is in Brooklyn, or it's a different borough. Okay, Bed-Stuy is in Brooklyn.
It's the part of Brooklyn. I'm New York adjacent now. I just left, and I feel like every time I go, I get more engulfed into the things. I was like, I was just in the Upper East.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
I was getting me a bacon, egg, and cheese. Give me a little chopped cheese, a little this, a little that. And Raynell was from. I think she was from Flatbush.
Who?
So that's one of our other friends who went to Hampton. So that was my first visit to New York. I was in Flatbush running the streets. I was in Bed-Stuy. I was just doing all the things. I was feeling like a little BK girl down.
Flatbush and Bed-Stuy is like the main neighborhoods in Brooklyn.
Okay,
so
period.
Okay.
Flatbush is very Caribbean over there.
And Raynell is Caribbean.
She is Caribbean.
Then, Bed-Stuy is more African American, gentrification, brownstone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, period.
That is so funny.
Last time I was in New York, I was in Brooklyn. And I think I was in Bed-Stuy because at the time I was fucking with a Trini boy, and he had me at a Caribbean party, and I was drunk off rum making out with him in the midst of COVID.
Sounds like fun.
Very nutty time in my life. A dirty wine, nasty.
I have to come back during like the is it what weekend is that? Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day for Carnival.
Yes, I want to try that again. I love New York. I think it's like the most fantastic place on earth that I would never live.
Yes, and I could not live.
I literally want to go back. I want to live. I want to go there like once a quarter and just walk the streets and be like, I'm taking the subway. I'm walking down the street on the block. I just love it.
On the block is crazy.
My little southern self. I literally smile so much when I'm in New York. Like, everything is so funny to me. Like, I don't even get mad at the New Yorkers yelling. I'm like, yeah, get out of here.
Tyreek, you're going to get this.
Where are you from, Jamila?
I'm from Texas originally, and I live in Atlanta now.
Okay.
When at Hampton, so I was talking with this Dominican boy in Hampton who's from New York because he got sent down there because he was being bad. And something that I noticed from a lot of people in Virginia, They be like, I'm from New York. You, baby, you've been in the 757 since you was 12.
Yeah, when people
You was a
leave New
Southerner
York,
in
they never stop
Tim's.
claiming it.
Yeah, you was a Southerner in Tim's, babes. The Tim's and the fitted don't make you from New York. We actually had a girl we was hanging out with at Hampton like that who was like, I'm from Harlem. And everyone be like, you've been living here since you were 7.
And I think it was actually younger than that, possibly. It was really young.
Because
Launcher
said her godbrothers they went to school, elementary school together. But I did not know this. She had and I'm not going to say she forced her accent. It sounded very authentically New York to me. But apparently the people from, I think she's from Alexandria, if I'm not mistaken, were saying it was she forced it. Because she'd be like, I'm from Harlem.
Yeah.
It's like some stank on it, so I'm from Harlem. And
it's like, you know what? I would too.
You know that the Harlem, you gotta
yeah.
I too would take my accent with me everywhere I go.
I would never, if I had a New York accent, I would also never let it go.
I would literally be so dead ass every day. Like, what are you talking? But honestly, I feel like it's weird because I feel like my accent, a lot of people think that this is an Atlanta accent when it's like, no. If you were in Atlanta, you would know, I actually don't sound like I'm from Atlanta at all. It's but it's just Southern. It's just a very Southern accent. I feel like my accent was more Beaumont when I first moved out here, but now it's kind of just flatlined to just being country altogether. So I can understand when people move from New York, how they still have that twang of New York, but I can also understand how they thickening it up a little bit sometimes too, adding a little sauce to it on the side.
The Atlanta accent is so interesting to me because, it's country, but it's ghetto also. And then, for some reason, people in Atlanta, they will just pick and choose which parts of the word they want to pronounce and, just drop the last half off altogether. So now, they just talking in sounds and beginnings of words, and that's it. But it makes sense. You know what's being said.
Yeah, it's very much like that. And now there's this whole conversation of, new Atlanta accent versus, old Atlanta accent. Old Atlanta is, the TIs, right? But then the new accent is because I don't know what you talking about. What is you talking about? Yeah, da, da, da. It's very light and fluffy,
Nunu, Rado, yeah.
I ain't here for none of that. I ain't here for none of that.
Then it's always a scratch in the voice too,
Did you experience at Hampton? That southern hospitality. How is it going from being from New York, where it's people are not as friendly, and then you have to adjust to that? Because even coming from California, I know I made Julie Long. I had pissed her off one day, child, and burned her damn butterfly. I made her mad. I just walked up in there and started talking. She said, "Excuse me."
She meant straight business. Ladies,
she was
so serious.
Did you feel? But you want to hear what's funny? Me always just being on funny time, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She said I was trying to rush her through the conversation that we were having. So every time I saw her after that, I would make sure to talk real slow so I did not make her feel like I was rushing the conversation. But it was obviously obvious, and she knew I was being funny. So it just became a key between us. So I'm glad that she took it like that and she didn't take it as disrespect. Because even if she had at the time, I probably wouldn't have to give it a fuck because I was young and out my motherfucking mind. But did you feel an adjustment coming from New York to Hampton and I guess all the small talk and the fluff?
Not really, because my family is from the South. My mother's side of the family is from South Carolina. And then, my dad lives in North Carolina. So I was, always going back and forth to see him. So, I know how down South is, Bitch, I know what Bojangles is. I know about the Waffle House and all that. So
not the Waffle House.
None of this was new to me.
One, too. Okay, period. I feel like that was definitely an adjustment for a lot of people. But honestly, for me, what was just so interesting is that, I didn't realize until I got there, wow, I've only been around Southern Black people. Oh my gosh, everybody is so different. Even the quote unquote Southerners from Virginia they're not Southern in Georgia or Texas at all. It's a whole different vibe. And just being so engulfed into what the DMV, it was such a culture shock.
Now let me tell you, I had no knowledge of the DMV. No, when they said DMV to me, I said the Department of Motor Vehicles. What the fuck are y'all talking about?
I literally learned about the DMV during like what was that freshman week at
Yes.
Hampton.
Yes.
Rep your city and shit. Yeah.
I had
Had
no
no
idea
clue what
about the
those people was
niggas.
talking about.
I didn't have
Yeah.
no
I
idea.
didn't
I
realize
was
people
like,
from
oh.
DC had their own accent. My first time hearing a Baltimore accent, I will never forget this. I was taking that history class we had to take, and we got an assignment, and there was a boy from Baltimore who sat like 2 seats behind me, and I just remember him saying, "When is this due?" And I'm like, "Why did he say it like that?" Then he said it again, like, "When is this
What is this
due?" And I'm
dude?
like, "Is something wrong with him?" Then I realized, no, that's just how people from Baltimore talk.
Yes. I did.
So,
I just was in my head. Obviously, I knew that New York, there was accents in New York. I was very familiar with the New York accent because it's very like obvious, it's very mainstream. So I was expecting that. But what I wasn't expecting is that like even like with the subset of Jersey, their accent was slightly different. Than on top of that, y'all listen to different music, and then there's like the
And y'all do line
Midwesterner.
dances?
I'm like,
Santana,
wait a minute.
rock. Like, what are we talking about right
Wait
now?
a minute. Like I'm like the Chicago and the whole Midwest, they have their own music. Then like I'm learning about the DMV fucking go-go music, which I absolutely love now. And beating the beat and all of these things. And then even like
And then
having
regional
like the Cali
wars.
people come. I was like, oh my God, there's so much I don't know about the blacks around this country.
yeah,
Wow. That was amazing to me.
that's such an HBCU experience, also.
Finding
I
out
miss
about
it.
everyone else. I actually learned. So my dad's side of the family is from Louisiana, and being from California, I just thought my grandmother had a crazy ass voice. I genuinely like because only people I knew who talked like that were the old people in my family, and my grandma has a deep like Louisiana accent, like she's from the backwoods, but she also has a Michelle type, very high pitched voice. So it's just very intense. And it wasn't until actually Allie Butler I had a class with this guy. I'm gonna say his name, but I'm not gonna say his name. He was from Louisiana. Butler put his ass in speech classes because he was like, because his accent was so thick, and I was one of the only people who could understand what he was saying. And I was like, oh, this is a Louisiana accent. I thought my grandma just talked like that. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Insane. Do you
Wow.
plan on like staying in New York, or do you want to live anywhere else?
If I move, it has to make sense. And like, I currently like work in the media space. And then in an ideal world, I would want to be like a full-time content creator or whatever. And there's just so much opportunity in New York.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. New York is like everything for opportunities, especially
Because where am I
in-
going to go? LA doesn't exist anymore. Respectfully. You know,
No, but literally,
No, but
you're like
you're-
in such
yeah.
you're in such a good area. I feel like that about Atlanta. It's like I'm cool here, and there are a lot of production opportunities for me here. There's a lot of just network that I haven't tapped into yet, and me just kind of building my own personal network around here. Like I feel like I'm where I need to be, and then if I wanted to travel for work, I could always do that. But then I think like me being stationed here makes the most sense.
I remember when I had first got started, I had randomly came across this video, and the girl was basically saying like, "Don't be fooled. Like just because you have a whole bunch of followers doesn't mean like your life is going to change." And she had like a pretty sizable following, but she was in Jacksonville, Florida. I had like a fraction of her following, and it was getting like a ton of opportunities
Yeah,
because I'm in New
that
York.
matters.
So
It
yeah,
definitely
like there's
matters.
other variables that go into it. That's why, like, when you see like all that negative stuff on like TikTok and stuff, you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
I be like, I
'cause
don't know, I can't relate.
That don't-
Yeah, a whole lot of
Because
stuff I
my
can't
life
relate.
absolutely changed. I
Yeah.
immediately changed, and
Yeah.
I'm so forever grateful. That's why that's why I think it's so bitter for everybody right now with this whole TikTok ban looming over our heads. It's just like the idea that that's even a thing is just it's very sad considering how much it's helped so many people, even the people who are not necessarily creators. It's unfortunate. Yeah. How do you feel about all this beef that's been happening over the last couple of weeks with the TikTokers? Whether we have the Super Five, whether we have the Beyonce biracial bowl, and all of the things. What has been your insight being an outsider looking in?
I'm glad you mentioned outsider looking in because
I was
That
gonna
is
say
not
his
my
video.
side
He
of
came up
TikTok.
said, "What the hell is going on?" I remember I watched it. I was crying.
so funny The night that Beyonce did that halftime show, I was on a flight home from Antigua, so I had missed all of that.
Crying.
And then I was
Traveling the
not
world.
engaged in the TikTok conversations, and I didn't want to be engaged in it because I just thought they all looked silly. And then things just kept escalating and escalating, and then finally there was the whole the mutual mutiny where we're screen recording videos and stuff. I'm like, bro. One, it's been 2 weeks already, and y'all are just taking this too far. Like, none
We
of
had
y'all
a
know
whole
each
new
other.
set of main characters at that point. Not even the folks we started with.
I'm just never going to be arguing with strangers on the internet. I'm not that invested in this. I just post my videos and go.
Well, I like to
Yeah, you've
argue a
been-
little bit. I'll be wanting to say
Yeah.
something.
And I like to watch arguments. So, we all have our place in all of this.
Right.
I'm just saying I'm not going to be the one doing the argument.
Period.
Yeah, you've been in a good position to where you haven't had to, at least from what I've seen, I haven't seen you be into any hot seats to where like people are like coming at you like, did y'all hear what Tariq said or Tariq did? Like, you have a good sweet spot, and I definitely think that's a good place to be. I don't necessarily want to continue to
Let me know if
be
it's
in
too
the hot
noisy
seat.
also.
No,
Oh,
we're
no, you're
good.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that was an experience that I probably just needed to experience just so I can know how to flow with it, but not too fond of it. And I'd like to kind of stay on the fun, goofy side of things where I'm not the one that's being scrutinized and like overly perceived and all of these trying to break apart every freaking detail of everything I say. Like, oh God, please shut the hell up. It's never that deep with me, and I'm glad that I'm able to kind of be on the other side of it and watch the other people get into their mess.
I love black people. I'm sorry, Jamila, because listen, this is really reminiscent of when I was working from home and I was living at my mama's house, and you be on there trying to be on them work meetings, and they just
Yeah.
My mom did not care what I had out going on, girl. Like, she would be like, girl, this is my
Yeah,
house.
this is real life.
Right, like, no.
And I live.
Well, no, that's why that's all good. I was going to say, I could tell, not in like, I know whenever you bring up age, people, I'm not trying to be insulting, but I can tell that you're a bit older than us. And I can tell with the older content creators who kind of also talk they shit, y'all have, and again, like to Jamila's point about just kind of having to like, oh, we have to be in the hot seat to really, okay, I don't need to talk on every single little thing. How you said, like, I'm not finna say nothing about that. That's stupid. I'm not finna getting to that point. That really is some age shit. That's like, oh, you just gotta get burned one too many times. I don't want to say nothing.
The creators, most of the creators that are always in stuff, they're younger. And it makes sense. Like, because sometimes, just being on the internet, you don't really know how old these people are. You can assume. But when it starts, when you see people who are always, like, back to back to back, even if they're right or wrong, doesn't matter. Just if they're always, like, going back and forth with little things, and then it turns out, like, oh, they're 22. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I probably would have been cussing everybody out every 2 weeks when I was 22 as well, but I'm 28 now. So it's like, I mean, I just don't care to go back and forth. And it's like, I said what I said, and I feel more like firm in my beliefs anyway, to where I don't even feel the need to argue with people about things that I said. Like, what I mean, I said it, so obviously I think it and believe it. I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. It comes with age, because when I was in my 20s, I was absolutely in Facebook comments arguing with people all day. You just kind of naturally grow out of it. With me, it's also like just being honest with yourself, because like whether you want to admit it or not, sometimes you will see things on the internet that can kind of bother you or disturb your spirit. So I'm like, why even invite that opportunity? I just ignore certain stuff,
Yeah.
Same. I don't go. I do not go searching for like opinions of myself. This one, on the other hand, crazy ass. Like when we were in our TIFF, she's like, I'm watching the videos. Why? Like, why?
On a normal day, I'm not looking up my name. I'm not trying to see what people are saying. I don't seek that, because I just feel like I don't even go and necessarily overly obsess over my likes and things like that. Of course, I'm reading the comments because I want to be engaging, but I try not to like I'm not going to my story and seeing like how many people look at my story today. Like, I'm not doing all that, like which ones. I typically don't. But when that whole situation happened, I genuinely was just so intrigued on how people who were just watching all of this unfold, what their thoughts were like. I wanted to know what people were saying. I didn't want to be too blind, because I didn't want to just be like, oh, fuck it, I'm right, I don't give a damn. Because I wanted to know, like, maybe if there is a chance, an opportunity for me to grow and learn in this, I want to see that too. But as I was watching, I was like, I'm still right. I don't give a fuck. I said what I said, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'm cool. But I couldn't turn away, and it was just. And you know, one thing about that damn TikTok algorithm, baby, you watch 3, you gonna see 30. So it was like I couldn't get out of it, and it was just I couldn't stop watching.
Well, like what I would also consider this because that was like a really huge trending topic, and most of the people who were speaking on it just wanted some views. So I would
Yeah.
not take those opinions too seriously.
Yeah,
They
for
just want
sure.
to, get some a piece of that RPM real quick and run it up on the 15th.
It was
And
definitely a
I
lot of
always
that.
respect that because
Yeah,
if
it's
anything,
like, hey,
we all trying to
'cause
do the
that's what I would
same
do.
thing. You know,
Yeah.
I don't. I feel like with the bigger platforms, and I think even to you're also going over to the podcast realm, and I feel like it's even more intense in this space. They don't see us as people. We're just kind of like avatars that
Yeah.
kind of how people talk about Beyonce. Beyonce is not like, she is an institution, and it really becomes, especially once you bridge gaps and you go into other lanes, it sucks because there's a less human aspect there. It's like, oh, did you hear what Joe Budden said? It was fucking crazy. Fuck him. Da da da. Like when I say that, I'm not thinking about Joe Budden as a person. I'm thinking about like Joe Budden, the podcast,
The entity. Yeah.
the entity. So I think really understanding that and coming to grips with that really does help with, I guess, taking your feelings out of like people perceiving you.
Yeah,
A lot.
for sure.
I think that one way I've dealt with that is like I go out of my way to show people just how human I am. Like y'all see me walk into the damn train to go to work every morning. I may mispronounce a word here or there. Shit, I'm flawed. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's like everybody else. Like I tell you where to put your expectations for me. Don't put them up there because that's not where I'm at. Then you want to be mad when I disappoint you for some shit that I never claimed to be. Like no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. People will definitely put their expectations on you that just came out of nowhere. Like, why would you ever expect that from me when I'm getting on here being a key?
Yeah.
Like, why would you expect me to be the president?
Hello,
don't
do I
want to
present
be.
myself as somebody who should be
Yeah.
doing all that? No.
Exactly.
I talk about crack, so just keep your expectations down there. Like, come on.
Please, I want y'all to be serious. There have been a couple moments like that for me on TikTok where I'm like, why would y'all think I would think that given everything I've showed y'all? But that's the thing. Like, you can be honest and it'll still get to the point where people just like, they put that on you. We were actually just talking about this because we're, Shaheem and Christina are starting their podcast. And not so much on Instagram or TikTok, but on Twitter, they've been getting ratioed with like how they did the rollout and the jail cosplay. It's supposed to be satire. I got it. And I didn't even think this when I initially saw it. But like that point of like, if people, I think that they're getting the reaction they're getting because, they are activists. And so Jamila and I were talking about how I'm glad I be ignorant because I'm gonna say some ignorant shit and I'm gonna be ignorant. Like, not to sound like this, my family is kind of like ignorant black people. Like the way that we talk in my house is like some stuff like, oh, you can't talk like that outside. So it's like I don't want you to think I'm too politically correct because that is not how I live my life. So if I say something that's a bit off the cusp, I need you to catch it, laugh, and keep going. I'm not doing this with y'all.
Tariq has holding your recording stop. Let me try one. Hold on.
The candle girl who makes the candles.
Oh, yes. Okay. I plan on getting a candle because I be trying to support everybody, and I'm also that type of person who I like to buy stuff and pop up with it. Oh, I didn't even know you had ordered. You didn't. Exactly. I do want to get a candle because I'm a candle lady. I actually took up a hobby for Christmas. I made everyone that was in everyone's Christmas gift. I made everyone a candle this year. So how are you liking that?
That was quite an experience, like the way that whole thing came about. I remember I was just randomly in like a TJ Maxx one day and I said, hey, I should make a TikTok of me just sniffing TJ Maxx candles. That went viral for whatever reason. And then
People love
candle
TJ Maxx.
companies started sending me candles.
Yeah.
Bold Rich was one of them. I reviewed her candle, did pretty well. She then reaches out to me again and invites me to like a candle making class she was hosting. That was fun. And then she just reached out to me again and said, hey, you want to do like a signature candle together? I was like,
Now, if you
cool,
see me
alright. Put
sniffing
anything else,
candles
why
in
not?
Burlington, I'm gonna steal the playbook because I be in Ross every day anyway. So
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that the opportunities are starting to flow. I think that influencing is starting to shift as well. And being in the game for so long, I've literally watched it go. I've watched it go. And I think now we're actually starting to get to a point where the brands are starting to see the value in the comedic content creators, because for so long they did not. It was always the tech bros, the beauty gurus, the family bloggers. Those people, they get all the brand deals out the ass. And the people who made comedic content, commentary content, it took a lot. We were only ever offered certain things. They just kind of like, damn, y'all think I can only sell a movie ticket? God damn. Like, even then, sometimes it's like we weren't being offered paid things. It was just little things. So I think now, because of TikTok, honestly, and kind of like the resurgence of yappers and things like that, these people who are we're just becoming popular based off of our actual personality, our voices, our accents, even like just being naturally who we are. And so I'm excited to see what that's gonna bring. And like you said, you were just being authentic. You were literally just sniffing candles, and now boom, you have your own signature candle with a line, and there's no telling where else things are gonna go. That's exciting for me.
what does it smell like?
It smells like amber and peppered pink salt, a little oud. It smells very luxurious, very
Okay.
light.
Is it a bit masculine?
It's like right in between. Like you can't place it
Okay.
anywhere. So we're
I
like,
love a
like
little
that.
in between.
exactly. Like if a man had it burning in his house, you wouldn't think he was gay. You wouldn't know what was going on. You just had to figure it out. It'll
Like,
take you on a
What
journey.
bitch was in
about
here?
that.
There's layers to it.
What bitch you had in here?
I really don't like super masculine smells. I feel like masculine smells burn my nose a little bit. Also, I feel the same way about like super Christmassy smells, like the OD cinnamony. I'd be like,
Yeah.
a little burn. I like a clean, fresh. I don't know all the notes. That's one thing I wanted to get into, is like learning stuff, because I do enjoy things that smell good, but I know nothing about it. I just know it smells good. I'm like, I like that. I don't know nothing about it. I just know it smells good, but I do want to learn the notes and the odes and the oods.
It's so funny you mentioned that because I learned so much about scents and layers and all this stuff
Yeah.
by working with
Doing the
Santasha
candles?
and doing the candle thing.
I'm a smell
bet.
lady, so I know the notes and all the stuff. And just to it's funny how like each generation has like its perfume that goes up, and like right now White Diamonds is, people consider that an old lady perfume, right? But the same, I think it's Lily, and I can't think of the name right now. The main notes in White Diamonds are the same main notes in Ariana Cloud. What smells good simply just smells good, and those main notes are like, whereas Cloud is like a generational scent now, like girls wear Cloud a lot. It's like when I hear people be like, White Diamonds smell like old lady, it's like, I don't know. I be mixing White Diamonds with a whole bunch of shit and don't know, never know I have on White Diamonds. So, like,
That's also like
if you-
marketing also.
yeah, if you know the notes and
They
what
had
to
Liz
add,
Taylor up there just.
honestly, she ate that one little thing. White
Yeah,
Diamonds mixes
she sure
good
did.
with a lot of shit. Like,
Right.
it's a good standalone, and I'm giving my tea. The perfume is very strong, but if you use a White Diamonds powder and then put whatever perfume you finna put on top, and then if you look up the notes to White Diamonds and maybe look up the notes to something else, if there are similar notes, it's gonna complement each other. So, the same thing with the candles. Have your whole house cohesive, smelling good. Something I like to do is I have a different candle in each room, but maybe all the candles have the same note.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, period.
I like
Let me
that.
do a little 1 and 2. I need to get him.
I
I need to
can't
get back in my
stand the
bag.
smelly nigga.
No, literally though.
When you go
Literally.
into Tyreek, I know you know about the slarbs, the harbs.
But the slarbs?
You
Is
guys
this like
don't
in,
call-
I think that's a generational term. That
Oh, okay. Did y'all call the harbors? You didn't call them the slarbs?
no, we just called them the harbors.
They just got more ghetto by the years, I guess.
Yeah, because I know
Child.
we did have like terms like slew and slocal, which I personally never liked that. But like slarbs for the harbors, it seems like it tracks. Kinda.
Yeah, the slarbs, the slocal. We never. Now we did, have our. Why is you fucking with that local?
Yeah,
And I
we-
could say that as someone who fucked with locals. I was
Yeah.
not. I didn't discriminate. I kind of felt like my parents had paid for me to have a Harper's apartment, paid for my Netflix. You're not coming in here and fucking me, man. You're not adding nothing. I'm gonna fuck with the military boys or local before I do that. So I really, my little 2 Hampton buddies I acquired after Hampton. One of them, that was an accident, girl. I didn't mean to do that, girl. But yeah, we were the generation where they put the gate around the harbors while I was actually living there. So that happened when we were there. Did you live in the harbors?
I did for 1 year.
Ooh, what apartment were you? Do you remember, or like what side you were on?
It was 13A.
What's crazy is is that where David and them lived? Was in the 13s?
I was gonna say, why does that sound
The harbors
familiar?
is so small that it's like you'll say the number, it's like, oh my god, my friend lived there. Like that's really how it was. I was in 53A, which was smack dab in the middle.
You were in 3A, right
53.
at the beginning of the harbors, by the parking lot, the guest parking lot, right?
Yes, I was literally that first door.
So when I was at Hampton 3A, there was this really popular basketball player who stayed there. And do y'all know like Body by Bakari? He's like a fitness influencer. That might not.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, but
like
like they were
Did he
both
go to-
super, super popular. They were roommates. They said at 3A, and shit went down in 3A. If you saw a girl going to 3A, you knew what time it was.
Now
Like
I
a
gotta be
revolving
messy
door.
and look up Body by Bakari. Well, here's free promo.
It was such a time. Like, what's crazy is when I was coming from high school, I was coming from a very
The way he
strict
popped right
household.
up, child, and I have absolutely
bet he
seen this
did.
man. I've
And
absolutely
he
seen
probably
this
got
man
hella
before.
mutuals.
I don't know if I saw him when I was there, but I've seen him before. If that makes sense.
But yeah, I came from a very strict household. Like, I didn't go to many parties and things like that. I went to like probably 2 that I can remember that they got crunk, and I was immediately like, oh. So to come into Hampton, I was just so excited to be grown and to just do all the things. And I will never forget my slarbs experiences. I will never forget them, even though there's no evidence that I even existed in them Harper's apartments. I will never forget those parties, going in there, and what was so amazing is like, what a time. There was no money involved. There was no money. It was just like, everybody meet at 33B, and then we was going to bounce to 51A, and then we going to bounce to, like, it was like 18 parties going on. You would just bounce from apartment to apartment. You ain't paying no money. You would have booty shorts on and some sneakers, and you would just bouncing and bouncing. You would go to the kitchen and get you some punch or some Loop juice.
Yes.
Some oil in here.
Yeah.
And you just having a good old filthy, nasty, ghetto ass time. Good
Oh
God
my God,
Almighty.
I remember those nights. It would be like a Friday, and you would like tweet, "What's the move?" And then they would tell you where the moves was at. And the moves
They would
be
tell
like
you
5
right
in the
there.
Harbors, and you just go from apartment to apartment, drunk as
Exactly.
hell, acting
Drunk
a fool
as
in the
hell.
street, drinking some of this punch, some of that punch. You don't know what you're
Mixing
drinking.
all type
You don't know
of
what you
things.
mixing, but you drinking it. I've seen people
I
get
have a
arrested in the
question.
harbors. I've seen people fight in the harbors. I've seen it all in the harbors.
I have such an important question to ask you.
Okay.
I hope to have the right answer. Are you a turtle?
Yes. I did not expect that question. But yeah, I am. Are y'all?
You bet your sweet.
Yes, I am.
No, I mean, the proper response and everything. That's how you know I'm not that tapped in. But no, I
I'm
did call
crying.
turtle.
Child, and that's the only thing
I wanted to make a video about this. That's gonna be my video where it says I have something to tell you. That's gonna be my video, because it's like, I never made a public video about this. The funniest thing about that is we became turtles without fucking knowing what the goddamn shit we were doing. We literally, they were like, get on the wall. We're like,
Whoa! Mind you,
What are
the
we
girl
doing?
we were with, she stormed out of the turtle party because
was like, I
she
don't know what the fuck y'all bitches
she
are
said y'all joined a cult. It was like, mind you, what had me so weak, I did not realize it was a real thing. Like, I thought that was,
I thought it was just
and
a
you know,
Hampton thing.
like, you know, they hate you for every motherfucking thing. They're just like, whatever. Like, I went outside at Towson when I was at Towson, and I made a joke about being a turtle, and a nigga said, "Are you a turtle?" And I was being funny. He bet your sweet ass I am.
Yeah.
And he said, and he did some shit, and he pulled out a whole card. I said, we could get cards.
I didn't get a card.
Cards.
You could get a card, bitch.
There
It's a
are
whole
cards.
thing. If you Google it, this made me Google it. If y'all Google the turtle fraternity, you know JFK was a motherfucking turtle. You know that
Barack
like
Obama.
people be turtles for real.
People be turtles. I said, I'm a part of something.
I
bigger than
said,
myself.
maybe I'm not a goddamn individual.
Look,
Like, it's crazy because I forget it most times. I forget
Yes.
about this like random lore about myself.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, why? I have to ask you this because you went to Hampton and you was all up in them Harper's apartments and like you just it's like honestly probably 1/3 of Hamptonians are turtles, maybe more, but it's so random.
I just remember it was me and my friend Jasmine, and like we were at some apartments, and we had did that whatever that nonsense was. They had us drinking some orange stuff. That might have been the drunkest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah,
But, you know.
and you know, you take it for other people. They had us drinking Fireball during ours. I don't drink
They mix
Fireball
all
to
type of
this
shit in there.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Traumatized.
me and Jasmine in somebody's bathroom throwing up in the bathtub together.
In the bathtub, child. That was the first time, and I don't mind saying his name. That I remember, I looked over and I looked at Dallas. I said, I can't take this shot.
No, we were literally like, who can
What
do
the
it
fuck?
for
I
me?
can't take this.
All
And he
these
was like,
goddamn riddles, and I'm like, I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know
what
the
am I
goddamn
Yeah, they were like
answer.
puzzles and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Oh my god!
And Jamila and I walked back to the dorm. Elantra and old girl left, and they was like, "What the fuck?" Because they left. Because they were like,
They were like, "What is this?"
"What is this, no ma'am?" And me and Jamila was just on vibes.
We were just always down to do some shit.
What were y'all turtle names?
Oh,
my
I couldn't even
God.
tell you that.
I remember mine.
Oh my
Mine
god!
was
Oh my god,
over
we forgot our
9,000.
line names, Jamila. What the
We
fuck?
forgot our line names.
I
Shit.
knew mine for years. If I
It was
sat here
something
and
about
thought
me
of
being short. It was
Yeah.
something about me being short, but I can't remember the exact name. Oh my!
it was
gosh.
like
'Cause there's a story behind the name. Like, do you remember what you did to?
Yeah, I was gonna say adventurous. Like
It was something about me being short, but it was also something about the fact that we stayed and they left.
Yeah,
was
okay,
something like
exactly.
that.
Because our friends made a scene, like our friends kind of made a big deal, like
Yeah.
because the way they did it, they came and picked us up from VC. You know how they had the little joint going, and so the girls that we came with, they were roommates. And we were roommates. They got up and left because they were like, "Oh, we don't know what the fuck going on. Y'all need to take us home." Da da da. And we were like, "Oh, we'll stay." That's why I was saying adventurous or something like mine had to do with being brave or something along those lines.
Dang,
Brave
I'm
little
mad I can't
toaster.
remember.
Yeah, like a brave little toaster child.
It was
Damn,
crazy.
Jamila, you just brought up. I remember we ended up at the McDonald's over there.
Yes.
Which one? On Phoebus or the one?
Oh yeah, the one behind the school that's
we
over there in
didn't-
Biafrica.
And we didn't pay. We got somebody's
Phoebus.
random order. Like the person who was driving us swooped into the front of the line, grabbed somebody's order, and we just left.
It was so much going on that night. Oh my god, I'm
We
gonna
have
get me a
so
turtle
many
card after
random
this
memories.
child.
I just feel like I need one just for the memories of it all. Like, what a time.
My name
miss
was over 9,000 because, like, at some point they told me to like go Super Saiyan, and if you know Dragon Ball Z, the Super Saiyan's power level is like over 9,000. So you know that. But hey, I did what I had to do.
So funny.
Over 9,000. And
Over
did yours turn
9,000.
into like a regular party after they were done?
We were
remember-
fucked up. Okay, I blacked out. I just woke up in my room. I don't know what happened after that.
I'm crying. See, I didn't get, but I remember I tapped out because I wanted to like get back home. But the way we used to be trucking in the snow from VC to the harbors, I remember like when I was there in 2023, walking across campus and being like, and I used to just do this like it was nothing,
Yeah.
child. That shit is
That
kind of
big-ass
big.
thing,
I never looked.
just because there was no vehicle. But also, when we were there, that was like the inception of Uber. Our second semester is
Yes,
when Uber first started to be a thing. I remember we would take the Uber to like the mall area where the Chipotle was and shit like that.
What
And
was
I
like the
remember thinking this
Peninsula
was so
Town
cool.
Center or something?
Yes.
PCC,
Yeah.
I used to work.
Yes.
That Forever 21 closed down. Good. I used to work there, and I used to steal from that Target.
That is-
Oh, I was
As
taking
you
me so many candy
should.
bars out of that child.
That
We
is so.
we
Because I
used
remember we
to
used to
do
take
happy
taxis and
hour
shit.
there. There was a bar called Abuelos. They had a really good happy hour. Like the
Wow.
drinks would be like literally $2, $3, $4. So you would go in there with like $20 and just have the time of your life.
I believe that.
The
I
time was
never. We
had.
always we were more of like house party people. Now my
Mm-hmm.
homegirl was fucking with a boy who had a beach house over there, not too far from the school, like on the water. Maybe it was Newport News because it was right there on the water.
Was it like Buckrow Beach in
Yes,
Hampton?
in
Yeah,
Buckrow
that's in
Beach.
Hampton. Yeah.
Yes. And we used to be we did brunches like every weekend at his crib because it was his backyard was literally the water and it was so fucking nice. And we would be there with bottles and so it was someone Kusi was fucking with.
How old was he?
He was an architecture student, so he was older than us. So I
That
don't
would
know
be
how
so
old he
awesome.
was, but he was older than we were, and this was our sophomore year.
Okay.
I remember seeing y'all over there by them rocks.
Yeah. Now
You know
I
what?
know.
Hampton during spring semester is so much different than like the fall, because fall semester is like low key kind of depressing.
Yes.
But like once that
So
sun
different.
comes out and it gets good
It's
and
up.
hot like that, nothing can compare.
It's like
Nothing.
that second
I'm so glad you
semester
said that
was
because I have
insane.
echoed that sentiment for like years. I've always said like, what is that? You have homecoming, but homecoming is homecoming because it's homecoming. But the spring bazaar that they do, I always
Yeah.
felt was 10 times better than
I
homecoming
agree.
because it's
Yeah.
hot, the
Yeah.
weather's good, everyone's
Yeah.
on the sun endorphins, and they also do high school day around that time. I count one of my best days at Hampton ever at high school day my sophomore year. I was
Yeah.
high as hell all damn day. I remember
Yeah.
literally standing in the middle of the harbors, like in the parking lot, looking up at the sky, and like, I love my life.
Yeah. No,
I
it
will
was
never
crazy.
forget. High school day, my freshman year, was like one of the funnest days I had ever had at
Yeah.
Hampton.
Yes, because
And
they
that's
pull
how
out all the
we're crazy,
stops.
because why are we having this much fun on high school day? Showing
No, because
our
they be
asses.
showing out. That's
They
they
be
be
showing
showing
out.
out. Yeah.
They had like crab legs and steak and shit. I'm like, I know that's right. We was eating good that day.
I
So
also
good.
ended up joining the student recruitment team, so like I was doing tours and
Oh,
stuff.
SRT.
Yeah,
Period.
you know, high school day, that's a big deal for us. So, like, we was up at
Yes.
3 o'clock in the morning, you know,
Ooh.
just in the
Wow.
convocation center. They would order McDonald's biscuits for us to eat. And, you know.
Oh, that's fun. We were
That is so
SLP
fun.
rejects, and then I
Yes.
felt trying to go and do SRT was I had more pride than that.
Oh.
So no, because I didn't want to be like, oh well, I want to come
There was
around now
also
that
a
they
whole
didn't let
thing.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was like a whole thing like, oh, you didn't make SLP, so you want to be SRT now. Like, I'm like, ooh.
I just want to be involved.
I just want to do stuff. Like I'm
just-
getting hazed for everything, and then you know the what's it called, the fall semester, I was in the big play that for Hampton players. So you know there's like 2 big plays, one for each semester. So I
Was that
in
my wild?
play.
And was that the one I was in too?
No.
No.
So the first one was it was about a crackhead. I forgot what it was called, but I played one of the crackheads for sure. I do recall that, and because we were in that play, that was like my life for that first semester, and thankfully we wrapped right after homecoming, and they gave us a break. They were like, it's homecoming week, I guess you guys can be free. They held us in that goddamn theater all night. I wouldn't get home till 1, 2 a.m. sometimes. Like, it was so strict because it was like, no, we're Hampton players. We don't do what everybody else says. You don't have a homecoming. You are a Hampton player. I said, oh my God, it's homecoming week. I want to do stuff. And they just barely would let us out. Like, I couldn't even really do as much as I wanted to that homecoming week because we were just confined. And it was so insane. So spring semester for sure, I had the shackles off, baby. And that's when I did One Wild and Crazy Night. But that was a little bit more chilled. It wasn't as serious as the first one. So we had a little
That's
bit
the
more
one I was in. I said y'all
legroom.
too strict
Yeah.
over here. I can't be in that strict play.
Yeah, the Hampton players don't play, babes. They don't play.
What was
When
your?
I
Did you
was
have a minor?
there, huh?
Did you have a minor?
Yeah. I minored in history.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
I love
I've
that.
always enjoyed history. It's like my favorite subject. I have a theory as to why I like it so much. Because, like, I am an extremely nosy person. And the way that I kind of tackle history is I just look at it as a collection of other people's business. So it's like gossip
Yes.
for me. And I think that's why I can
Yes,
enjoy it so much.
exactly. History
Yeah.
is just gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I love knowing all the business about everybody.
Yeah.
And by default, I have to learn about you as a person because I have to be able to explain this messy shit that you was doing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you need to understand why MLK fucking white women is so damn messy because he's MLK and he did all these other things. Like, yeah. Period. Wait, what were you gonna say about when you was at Hampton?
What was I going to say? Yeah, I was. Oh yeah, the play they had did Dreamgirls when I was there. That was really
We were
really
about
good.
to do Dreamgirls. They were gonna do Dreamgirls my sophomore year, and I was so mad because they wanted me to audition so bad. And I was like, "Oh baby, you know I'm auditioning, baby, for Dreamgirls, bitch!" And I didn't even fucking come back. I was so mad. I wanted to be Dina.
But that was like my
I had to
first
come
time
back.
seeing the play version and not the movie version, and like seeing the differences. I was like, okay, learning stuff over here.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Wow. That is so exciting. I love the Hampton lore. That is so fun. I want to meet like everybody who ever went to Hampton. Like I just feel like I just want to ask some questions like, so what's your experience in this like wow, so intriguing.
Who
I
else
can't
went
wait
to
for homecoming
Hampton?
now. I can see you at homecoming and pull up on you
Yeah,
like, hey,
I would
friend.
love that.
Yes.
I'm like, homecoming is everyone be outside. That's the other thing. Even with the O heads, it's such like a good energy, and by the school being small, I can't. And literally every year I go there, you walk around. Especially, I feel like having the little TikTok steez I did in 2023. Now, I always would float around campus just because I'm an extrovert anyway. And when I was there, I already knew people who were there when I was there. But when I went back in 2023 off, and I was Mecca from TikTok, child, when them old heads was coming up to me like, "Girl, I think you so funny. I was hoping to see you here." I said. I was hoping to see you too, sister. I did not know that, but I was.
Hampton, the events department or somebody, they need to like do some type of social media activation and maybe
oh my gosh,
book
they
some.
should. Because
So
there's
actually, that's what we're trying to put that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we're, and honestly, that's really why we were asking if you're gonna go because this past year for homecoming, they had like Shiggy and DDG on their panels and stuff. I said, oh, there's enough
need to be
actual
grabbing
Hamptonians who
alumni.
are content
Yeah.
creators that you can do a Hampton panel. Actually,
Hell yeah,
You know,
plug me
Ayana,
in.
too.
so we'll
We have
definitely
a
would.
few.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
we
actually
working
really
on that.
trying to do like get a part of their little lineup this year. We'll see how that goes. If it's gonna be an
Yeah.
official event at the school or if it's gonna be an outside event. But nonetheless, like we said, we plan on showing up and showing face. So
Absolutely.
That's so funny you mentioned that because like one thing that I wanted to do this year, like I want to do like live shows, like just like a little live something. And I was thinking it would be
Yeah.
cool to be booked at Hampton to do something live. You know?
Right? Like we gotta take. I just feel like that would be so full circle, just for everybody. Like going back
Yeah.
to the Stomping Ground, especially for me and Mecca, because like that's where we met, and that's kind of like the inception, the catalyst of coming back to this. Because we always talked about wanting to like get on and just do all this stuff and like do it together. So now being able to do it together, it would be just such a full circle moment. And we definitely want to just like showcase all the other talent because there's so much talent that has come out of Hampton just from our year. So I can imagine, just putting all the pieces together and to try to see like who all it has spawned from Hampton. I would love to do something like that. So we definitely working on that. And we obviously gonna pull you into it.
Oh, thank you for
we have to be
considering me.
quintessence. Y'all not the best class, but y'all, y'all alright. I had liked my QT brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
No, he was. You know how when you walk on Hampton campus, like when you're a freshman and you see the people that you think is fine and you in love with. I had me a QT9 person I was in love. Oh my God, I want him so bad. I want him so bad, child. That's the only one I ain't got either. You know how you get grown and
I'm
it's.
trying to think about what that boy's class would have been because he wasn't an ogre because he was a super senior. So, what would he have been?
He would have been. Tyreek, you said you didn't. 2014
2014 was Onyx 9.
Onyx 9. So he might have been Onyx if he was a super senior.
He might have been Onyx 9. He just hit my line.
Oh. Jamila's still actively being talked. Well, let me not do that because I was outside with BX on J5. So
Yeah,
let me not do that. But they're
please.
big in Houston. No, they're big in Houston. Seth and his brothers got a lot of spots. So the thing is, Sandman is owned by like a BX Snoop essentially, which is like a big artsy it's a studio. They do art shows. They do parties. They have a bar and that. Like the Raj brothers doing that motherfucking Dougie. I can't even hold it. Like they're doing their. That's the one thing I will say about Hamptonians. It be 10 years down the line, you run into folks. What you mean? You just be doing all this? You been doing all this?
One of my classmates, Ebony Jade, she's a stripper too. She went on to like get her doctorate in journalism or something, but she works for CNN. She was part of Kamala Harris's press tour. She was like on Air Force Two with her and everything. Like she was all over the place. Another person, Kristen Winfield, another classmate of mine from Brooklyn.
You know Christian? He's my big.
Yeah, I know him.
That's crazy. Now, I know he was a year back. Like, he might be younger than you because he was a year. He was doing an extra year my first year. That's actually one of my bigs. That's okay. I said, I know we're going to mention someone who it's like intersecting. Yeah, I definitely know Chris.
So many people. I honestly, majority of the people that I know from Hampton are insanely successful doing something in the field. And so I love to see that, like, even with what's his name who was a pharmacy major who has his own like marijuana like research.
Oh, Bobby.
Yes,
Another noob.
I'm like, we know all the news.
Unfortunately.
We know. They're like all just doing so much stuff, and it's like that's so cool to see. Like I love that. Like, and so when I be hearing people talk shit about HBCUs, I be like, I can't be talking about Hampton, baby, because I don't know.
It's like I said earlier, with certain negative stuff, I just keep scrolling because that's not me. It'd be like when people talk about HBCUs, can't relate. When people, even like just, I don't do like the diaspora or stuff. Like when people talk about Black Americans, I scroll past that too because you're not talking about me.
You
clearly.
can't keep talking to me, sister.
Right.
I don't know. I grew up in a bubble and I like my bubble, so I'm going to stay over here.
Hey, and I'm not mad at that. But I definitely, I have to agree, Hampton has bred like a lot of, and not even just loudly successful, quiet, because even you being, I mean, I figured you do stuff outside of TikTok when you be like, no, but I still work in the media space. So, and I will say this of Scripps. If you didn't graduate from Scripps and get yourself a good little job, it was on you. Because I was there when they was having NBC Universal and all these people come in. And so even with me, I've got lots of opportunities based on the fact that I was a scripper at one point in time. Like, and now that's been after. That's been like, oh, yeah, I was in this program.
You know, what's his name? Oh my gosh, Eric. He was a senior when we were there, and he was a scripper, and he was also in theater. He is one of the main reporters on Fox News in Atlanta right now. I'm talking about mainstream.
Oh yes,
Fox.
Eric. And you know who else was a scripper? Leslie. She's actually from Houston. She just got back. Leslie Delzabor. I know I'm butchering her last name. She's Creole, but she came. She's in Houston, and what's crazy is I was dropping like packages off because the spa, you know, we have our products that we mail off, and the mail office, post office I go to has like huge potholes. She was there doing a story, and I have Hampton plates on my car, so obviously I know she seen the plates and was probably like, oh, who's that? And I got off the car and she was like, Mecca, and I was like, I feel like that happens so often, like especially when we're traveling.
Yeah.
Well, and especially in certain areas, like we were saying, like DMV, you'll be outside and just see like someone.
Yeah. Well, we can keep naming names. You got to mention Keyshawn Marshall. He's a scripper. He was a senior my freshman year, so I think he's QT7. He's the lead producer on the Tamron Hall show right now. And before that, he was doing Dr. Phil out in L.A. Then before that, he worked for like Revolt. He's like really big in the TV space.
That's amazing.
There was somebody else. I forgot the name, but I know plenty of successful people.
Yeah, and you know, you be sitting here when you start naming names and you feel like you got to say everybody's name. You don't want to miss nobody. But like, and even Khadijah with her hairline, like, it'd be stuff that I honestly would have never thought of. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean you got braid in hair? Things. Like, what? Like, and I love that. I love that there's so much opportunity, and also you can get an opportunity. That's the one thing I would say post HBCU-ness. I always be telling like younger people, wear them sweatshirts to the airport. You never know. And people will come to you off the strength. I wear my sweatshirt to church. I go to like a church in Houston that's like a big, I would say like a upper middle class Black church out here. And I wear my Hampton shit, and I was having Hamptonians come to the church picnic. I was having Hamptonians from 30 years ago come to me like, oh my God, what class are you? Like, it's just funny how the same shit that we're doing right now, they were doing like in the 80s. They're like, oh, if you ever need anything, take my number.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
never worn my Hampton hoodies and not gotten some type of acknowledgement. If you work in 9 to 5, work that 9 to 5, bitch. Like really ingrain
Yeah.
yourself into the
Work it,
culture.
literally.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
ironically
I always
enough,
believe in that.
my biggest goal this year is to
Yeah.
quit my job. But I'm just saying, if you want to quit, make it make sense. Okay, you don't walk away
Make
from
it make it make
MLB.
sense. Don't throw the
Yeah.
baby out with the bathwater.
Exactly, because I do want to
We're
maintain a
actually
good relationship with them. But you know,
well, yeah, with who you just said, you would want to maintain a good relationship with them. You don't know what opportunities would open up for you outside,
Yeah.
like and as a content creator. It sounds cliche. You got to put yourself out there when they doing them
that
events.
networking is like
You got to show up.
tool that I picked up from college, just in general, being around so many people and learning how to talk to them and like utilize those relationships without it being like you're using them. Like that's a skill that a lot of people just don't have. And so I think us transferring that to TikTok has been very helpful to be able to like bridge that gap and just to be like, hey, like we see these creators, we like their content, and we think that they should continue to make content. Let's build some type of community within ourselves and like let's play off of each other and let's see what we can do for each other, because you just never know. Like content can clearly take you so many places. So that's what we're really trying to do with this whole Patreon thing. So I'm really glad you wanted to come talk to us.
I'm glad you said all that because you like low key just pulled a whole train of thought out of my head about like the importance of networking and stuff. Because I feel like when I was at Hampton, I was not colleging correctly, if that makes sense. Like it wasn't until like years later that I realized, oh wait, I've built a real network here, but I wasn't like
Yeah.
tapping into it. That's kind of why I went to grad school to like fix all the mistakes I made in college. But you know, I learned.
Was just focused on having fun. That was me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that, baby. That freshman year was nothing but a blink, okay? Because I was having a good time. Fuck them classes. I learned maybe 1 and 2, but I was focused on the wrong stuff. But I don't regret it one bit because I still, made some connections, and I feel like this is the same thing for me. I didn't realize that, like, damn, hello, I'm at a college with people who have different majors, which means they're going to be in different fields, which means I'm going to have access to all these different fields. Like, it didn't click to me till I was about to graduate. And so now realizing that, like, I could call anybody. Like, if I need a lawyer, I know a lawyer that I can call. If I need somebody who does this, I know somebody I can call that does this. Like, I know so many people in so many different fields, and it's like now even more being a content creator. But even within the content creator space, there's different niches and there's different things that y'all offer. So it's like, wow, I know a guy, like literally.
And that's
Literally,
such a
it's
privilege too. Don't waste that.
Yeah.
Something I like about being, I guess, the part about being a recognizable content creator is feeling like you can also add to like that ecosystem of, okay, I know I can call you, but you could also call me if you need me to pull some strings on something. And I feel like that's what, to your point about like making it so people don't feel like they're being used.
Yeah.
One thing folks know, especially people from our class, I be doing stuff for him. Like when I had hosted that event in DC, Michael, she wrote a book, and it was she's an accountant, finance major, and she wrote Budgeting in Your 20s, The Bougie Budgeter, and she has her own following on TikTok. But she flew me out to DC. I was willing to, but the thing was I was gonna fly on my own, just because off the strength of like, immediately, yes, I like what you're doing. And I will show up and host this event. You already paid me. Like, I really wasn't expecting that piece of it. And I think that is like a really big part of just all that. Even like how we're talking about going back and giving back and doing a panel and trying to like be like, hey y'all, like this sounds cliche, but these are like the best years of your life. And I say that not like the buck stops here and after college you like turn into dust and you become old and decrepit.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you meet your best friends here. Jamila and I are roommates. This is someone I talk to every day, and now I'm obviously like doing business with and on like a very serious level. The people I met at Hampton are the people who I talk to like every other day on a regular basis. So if you and also on a business tip, not outside of Jamila, I've done business with Hamptonians outside of this. So it's like, this is the best years of your life because you was really meeting the people who gonna make or break you.
Yeah.
It's not always what you know, it's who you know. Because one thing about it, if folks know you don't got to be qualified. They will, girl, just come over here. Yeah.
It's always actually who you know. Then they'll figure out what you know later. Like you just got to get in that door first. You really just got to get in that damn door.
That's also why it's important to make like good impressions on people because they remember the bad stuff too. Like you want to be the person that they call, not the person they stay away from. So hey,
exactly.
Do with that what you will.
Absolutely.
And you know, I know you were there. Coming from a very conservative HBCU, I be trying not to get too much in my auntie bag. Like, you ain't got no stockings on, girl. Like when that girl came on there in them booty shorts for that interview, I said, and I literally brought, I said, oh, well, this is not relatable content for me. I have to be quite honest.
Clearly, she skipped that part of it.
I'm just not. I'm not gonna play with y'all on certain shit. Like old head coded. But
That's
you know,
one thing about the internet. You realize just how big the world is and just how different people think. And look, if I see myself disagreeing with the masses, I just keep my mouth shut and keep scrolling because I'm not arguing with y'all. But yeah, you don't wear no booty shorts to a job interview if you want to be taken seriously. You can have the respectability politics conversation somewhere else, but it's not happening in this office. So,
I be sitting there like, child, they just started letting the men wear locks. What you mean you couldn't be in some booty shorts? And mind you, when we was at Hampton, we were there during the transitional point.
You had to wear a skirt, baby.
A skirt, but you know, we went at the height of the
Chelsea,
natural hair movement.
Yes.
So like the locks, they were just starting to, and even it wasn't even everybody. That's the whole thing.
Like, you better put that afro in a bun. It was.
You better put them in a ponytail or something, make them look presentable.
You remember Chelsea? She was our little baby stud. It was because of her that the girls can start wearing pants for the business days. She was like, "Please, can I wear some pants?" I dressed like a boy, a little boy. I don't want to wear this skirt. She literally had to beg and ask so many times. And finally said, "Oh, girl, let that baby wear some pants." And then now the girls can wear pants.
She just putting on a power pantsuit. She ain't trying to dress like a boy altogether, y'all. Come on.
Hillary Clinton does it. Why can't she?
Yes, that's what.
You are a lady.
But even to the point when we were they had just got the.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
The way my brain works. That if you still in contact with that girl, I got $1 billion idea for her. She needs to start her own line of pantsuits.
I'm crying. Hello? No, literally.
Power suits for the lesbian. Something.
Hey,
throw
come
them
on
color
now.
flags in there, make it eligible friendly.
I was gonna say because you know when we were there, they started the I can't think of it's called Mosaic. And I joined the club when I was there, and honestly, it was a lot for them to get that. Like, Hampton is so damn conservative.
Hampton ain't that
such an
progressive.
interesting time.
It's not.
We watched the tide shift on that because it was very like, we don't do that.
Yes, y'all do. You don't do it out loud.
You know, Butler was the advisor.
Everybody in this bitch is gay.
Well,
and it's not hard to see, but.
You know, I had a very close homeboy, and when I was in college, who I just knew some shit that I honestly to this day wish I didn't. Like I said, that's y'all parading these women's around on campus and Instagram, and you in someone else DMs, child. Ain't that about a bitch? Okay, well, I ain't even gonna play with y'all like that. And then remember that one boy, he transferred, he was a cheerleader, he transferred to NSU because they wouldn't let him cheer at Hampton. Like we were, I feel like when people be like, oh, Hampton, it was because we were at the precipice of like the social media-ness. So Snapchat was really big. Yik Yak was our freshman year. Like we were really like Yik Yak and the new calf, and it was a lot. You had to go in there heavy stepping, otherwise they would fry your ass up on Yik Yak. Yeah. They used to they were not fucking with like change that freshman year. Yeah, I think they weren't. The old heads were not. To be honest,
yeah.
When did that new president come in?
He came in afterwards. He was after us. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like we were still getting the Harvey of it all, while times were actively very much changed. Like it's like actually it's changed outside. Yeah. It's not even like this no more. Like we're the only ones still acting like this, and y'all are being weird. And like the first year we came, the Qs couldn't do the shit no more. You know how they used to go and eat the girls' butts
and bite people.
People. They got in trouble for that our year. Just shit that like was not normally happened our freshman year. And I remember that being like an air on campus, like, oh, y'all just came in here and changed shit. Everything about that problem. Like, and I mean, before they made that rule, I got my coochie nuttered in front of everybody in the student center because I was green. My godfather was a Q, may he rest in peace, but I ain't never seen him do no shit like that. So that when they said move out the way when the Qs come, I said, why? And I just said, and I remember, and I'm going to say her name, Jory, pushed me in front of him, and she said, oh, I'm fit to move. And that nigga came, put his face right in my cooch. I said, my dumb ass, well. Fun.
Oh my gosh, what a time. We were just so
things
young
are different now.
No, that's why I was going. What's crazy, some of the stuff that happened, I'm like, that would absolutely not happen today.
No, because like now I'm thinking of stuff that I saw at Hampton when I was there. I'm like, oh no, you can't do that no more.
No, a lot of honestly, the majority of things, that's why I say we were at such a cusp where social media was definitely a thing at that time, but it wasn't so much of a thing as it is now, to where there's not a lot of evidence of the things that we experience.
Yeah.
And I kind of appreciate that, because it got real.
It would get wicked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Them hollering, that Caribbean hollering.
Baby, them hollering. The
Ogadala
holler.
Ogadala holler, girl.
Bent over. Being passed around.
Sweating. Hot.
I'm on that note.
Because we about to...
We could talk for hours and hours about Lil Hampton, but we don't want to hold you up too much longer. Aww. I know you probably want to get to scrolling on TikTok for the last couple hours.
I know.
Oh my God, don't remind me. What is Biden doing? Sign the paper.
Figure something out, because I'm sad. But this has been so much fun. I can't wait to see you at homecoming.
We'll definitely see you at homecoming.
And I can't wait to see you on the other side of this social media thing, to see what is to come. I'm honestly excited to see the next phase of things, because I honestly think that we'll be okay in some way, shape, or form. You know, we just will. I just am delusional. Call me that. I don't know. But yeah.
No, I agree. You know how like people be saying, "Oh, I don't like Instagram because they don't engage, they don't do this." Again, I scroll past because I can't relate, so I can transfer my content. So yeah, this is not the end of Tyreek told you.
That's what I'm like. I've been posting. I gotta, once we get off this call, I'm finna save my TikToks. My shit is transferable.
Yeah,
I don't know what y'all doing over
y'all
there,
keep
but
saying that. I've been I don't know. I've been growing. I don't. Okay.
Well, they don't engage. They engage with me. They're mean.
Yeah,
they're not mean to me.
What did Tori say yesterday? Maybe you're boring. I was like, girl, okay, come on, don't. They might get mad. Well, they be mad at you anyway, girl. So go ahead and say it.
Yeah. Y'all, it's like, I'm gonna try anyway, baby. I'm not finna y'all ain't finna scare me out of making no damn content, baby. I got bills.
Yeah. And I still got plans for the year. My plans don't stop. TikTok ain't here.
Hello.
And I quit my job.
We will definitely. I'm glad that I have your number and I have your email. Exactly. So whatever happens with our event and our panel, we definitely want you to know publicly. Like, we would like you on it. And since you're going to be at homecoming, yay, so we know that can happen.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You know, I learned a lot.